Glycolipids are located on cell membrane surfaces and have a carbohydrate sugar chain attached to them. They help the cell to recognize other cells of the body. Glycoproteins have a carbohydrate chain attached to them too. They are embedded in the cell membrane and help the cell to cell communications and molecule transport across the membrane. Phospholipids contain a hydrophilic head and a nonpolar hydrophobic tail, which creates a barrier. Cholesterol stiffens the membrane by connecting phospholipids. Peripheral proteins can be found on either side of the lipid bilayer, inside or outside the cell. Membrane proteins can function as enzymes to speed up chemical reactions, act as receptors for specific molecules, or transport materials across the cell membrane. Integral proteins are located in the lipid bilayer. Carbohydrates or sugars are sometimes found attached to proteins or lipids on the outside of a cell membrane. They are found only on the extracellular side of the cell membrane. Together, these carbohydrates form the glycocalyx. Integral proteins can transport molecules and ions through the membrane. Facilitated or active transport are two different types of transport functions. Protein channels link the outside and inside of a cellular membrane. The lipid bilayer or phospholipid bilayer is a structural component of the cell that isolates the cell's components, which is the organelles in the cytoplasm, from the extracellular environment. Hydrophobic means water-fearing, and the hydrophobic tails are water-fearing. They don't like water. Hydrophilic means water-loving, and the heads like water. The molecules move from an area of high concentration to an area of low concentration. Passive transport does not require energy. A semipermeable membrane is a membrane that will allow certain molecules or ions to pass through it by diffusion and osmosis. Permeability may depend on the solute's size, solubility, and properties. Osmosis itself is the process by which molecules of a solvent tend to pass through a semipermeable membrane from a less concentrated solution to a more concentrated solution, thus equalizing the concentrations on each side of the membrane. Facilitated diffusion is the process of spontaneous passive transport, instead of active transport, of molecules or ions across a biological membrane through the integral proteins. This pump transports Na ions out of the cell and K ions into the cell. This keeps the intracellular concentration of Na low compared to outside, and the intracellular concentration of K high. The pump is driven by hydrolysis of ATP. It uses about 30% of the energy available to any one animal cell. The pump is a transmembrane carrier protein made up of 4 subunits, 2 large and 2 small. This has active transport.